I'm gonna go ahead and keep it a buck and say that I would like to see a reboot of the 1950s Godzilla movie with new storytelling techniques, new CGI, and paying homage to what Godzilla was about, originally about essentially. And I want to kind of see all this play out separate from the monsterverse that we already have with Godzilla 2014. So basically being its own thing. And I think that this would possibly be the greatest Godzilla movie to ever come out, besides obviously the original 1950s one. So hear me out, guys. Let me know if you guys like this idea. Let me know in the comment section below. So essentially, I would like to remake that original movie. Basically the same thing. Godzilla comes out, destroys Tokyo, and gets killed by the hydrogen bomb. All that stuff is still in the movie, except in this version, we have a cut of it where it is right after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the US military is stationed in Japan. They basically own Japan right now, and they actually historically were in Japan for about 4 years before they let it go. So they were in charge of Japan's military and defense, and they would be the ones fighting Godzilla. I think it'd be really cool to see like a period piece where we see the fallout of, no pun intended, the fallout of the two atomic bombs. We get to see what the Japanese think of the Americans, because there was a lot of resentment at that time. They hated the Americans, and the Americans hated the Japanese because of the fact that World War II was so bloody and so many people died during all those battles, and essentially Japan attacked America. So it'd be really cool for the very beginning of the movie to show that dynamic, but we don't want to stay on the human characters for too long. This movie doesn't need to be 2 hours long. I think an hour and a half movie would be perfect for this. And when we actually kind of see like the feel of the 1950s, it doesn't have to be in black and white. I would prefer it to be in color, because that way we can get like the actual, like the full depth of what the new CGI technology could do with Godzilla. We stay on this for maybe about 20 minutes or so, establishing the era, establishing the feel, establishing the mood, and that is when Godzilla comes up and we find out that Godzilla was basically summoned or awakened by the atomic bomb blast, and he is coming straight for Tokyo. And we get a really cool, if not the coolest, introduction scene to any Godzilla, and this would be the exact Godzilla that we saw in the 1950s film, except modernized essentially with CGI techniques. You could use puppetry with certain things. That would be really cool. It just make it like a nice blend of both, similar to how The Mandalorian does the same thing with basically modern puppets and modern aesthetics, and then we get a little bit of CGI and stuff. Make it like that, but obviously we don't want a guy in a suit because we want it to be as modern as possible, but I want the exact same design of Godzilla, looking fierce. I don't want him to be as big as the one from 2014. I don't want him to be having crazy abilities, just the atomic breath, the same size, the same scale as the one from the 1950s. He comes in, starts destroying Tokyo. The American military tries to stop him. We get like a lot of shots of the American military trying to defend Tokyo, trying to defend Japan, and calling out for more aid, but no aid comes. They have all these capabilities, aircraft carriers, a lot of World War II stuff trying to stop Godzilla, but none of it really helps. And that is when they decide, let's go ahead and nuke him. And the Japanese public, the government, finds out that they are trying to do another nuke on American soil, so they go and race to find a different way, and that is where we get the hydrogen bomb. The hydrogen bomb kills Godzilla, and that way the Japanese defend their own island against the monster, and that is essentially the end of the movie. That is my take on it. That is what I would do with a Godzilla reboot of the 1950s Godzilla. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this idea, and if you guys would like to add anything else, or think that it isn't a good idea to reboot such a classic. Thank you for all your support. This is going to be Sunscape signing off. Take care, guys.